What's up, guys? Matt Moda here with Crossing Broad, here to talk to you about the Tigers versus Phillies game tonight. It's game one of this series. Pretty important series, two really good teams. We obviously get the new look Phillies playing their first game post trade deadline. I'm going to have two plays, two home run picks for this game tonight. Pretty confident in the two plays that we have. As for the matchup tonight, we got Ranger Suarez on the mound for the Phillies. Obviously, an awesome pitcher. We got Jack Flaherty on the mound for the Tigers. A good pitcher, but somebody that we can get. Before we get into today's plays, just a couple things to do. Number one, got to do a recap from last time you saw me. This would have been Wednesday's game. Obviously, the Phillies were off yesterday. It's a really good day on Wednesday. We had two home run picks. We got one of them correct. Thank you to Colson Montgomery. Nice price on him as well at plus 275. Unfortunately, no Kyle Schwarber, but that's okay. The beauty of home run betting, you get one guy mostly to hit a home run, one player, and you're in the green. That's exactly what happened with us on Wednesday. Would appreciate it if everybody could go to BetMGM and use the promo code CROSSING to sign up with BetMGM. Use that promo code to take advantage of the sign up offer. And let's talk about the two home run predictions for today. So I'm sure our first play is going to come as no surprise to be Kyle Schwarber to hit a home run, which you can get at plus 270 odds. Schwarber's just been on a ridiculous run. The reason I'm going with him every single day is because he continues to just hit the crap out of the baseball. And with someone like Schwarber, when they're in the middle of a home run groove that they are on, just continue to take them. Now, he did not hit a home run on Wednesday. Still managed at least, or he still, not at least, he still did manage two hard hits. Granted, none of them were real home run threats, so I'm not going to sit here and say he had a good day at the plate. He did still have two hard hits, but you look at the last 7 days for Kyle Schwarber. Leads the MLB with 15 hard hits. Technically, he's tied with one other batter, but at the top. And he's one of 7 batters with 5 or more barrels over the last 7 days as well. 15 hard hits and 5 barrels over a 7-day stretch is fantastic, especially when you consider the fact that one of those days the Phillies were off. So it's over 6 games. And then you take a little bit more of a step back. You go since the All-Star break, insane numbers for Kyle Schwarber, second in the MLB with 10 barrels. And he is second in the MLB with 26 hard hits. Now, the funny thing with Schwarber is you don't think of him as like a consistent hard hit guy. You think of when he gets a hold of one, it's just absolutely rocketed and sent to the moon. 26 hard hits over the last 14 days. Very, very impressive. And then, oh yeah, he leads the MLB with 7 home runs in the last 14 days as well. So no, did not hit a home run on Wednesday. He did hit one on Tuesday. And yeah, that Kyle Schwarber fellow, pretty good at hitting home runs. Now, the weather in Philly today, not as good as it has been. The rain, they got a huge thunderstorm yesterday, and that cooled a lot of things off. So the temperature, instead of being like in the 90s, is in the 70s. And there are slight winds blowing in. Now that wind, like 3 to 6 miles an hour, isn't really going to impact the trajectory of the baseball that much. But it's just not going to be a weather ad for home runs. Now the Bank's still a hitter-friendly park, so and the weather isn't bad enough. It's not like aggressive winds blowing in or super cold or anything like that. So it's still fine home run weather. It's just not going to be a value add. I also think that's why we're able to get plus 270 on Schwarber. When you look at the last 2 weeks, he's been consistently in the low 200s or even in like the high 100s on most books. So I do like the odds and the price on Schwarber at plus 270. Now you look at the pitching matchup. I mentioned Jack Flaherty is pitching for the Tigers. He's got decent stuff. He can get good movement. He can throw a fastball pretty fast, high velocity. He'll also challenge batters, and he can get hit up. That's part of the beauty of taking a batter against a pitcher that throws a lot of fastballs, is when you can really get a hold of one, those can get hit pretty far. You look at the entire year, Flaherty has allowed a home run every 19.8 at-bats to left-handed hitters, basically every 20 at-bats or so. That's exactly within the numbers that we're looking for. Now, you look at his advanced stats across the board. Some good, some bad. The moral of the story is really nothing to be scared of. Now, you look at the last 5 weeks. I admit he's been better in terms of not allowing as many home runs. Like, he's only allowed 1 home run to a lefty over his last 5 starts. That's good. I'll give him that. That is good. But he's also he's got a high hard hit rate, 45%, high line drive rate of 34%. Now, his strikeout rate is also very high. So you always have to kind of take percentage numbers with a grain of salt while also looking at the strikeout rate as well. Because, a pitcher who racks up a ton of strikeouts, each hard hit is going to have a higher percentage because it only tracks balls in play. So it is something to keep in mind. Regardless, batters are still hitting him pretty hard. And this should be a advantage in terms of a pitch mix perspective. Advantage Kyle Schwarber. As I mentioned, Flaherty loves to throw the four-seam fastball, throws it half the time to left-handed hitters. Schwarber's got fantastic numbers against four-seam fastballs from righties. 357 ISO rate, 1.090 OPS is phenomenal. 13% barrel rate, 61% hard hit rate, 40% fly ball rate. Really, really, really good numbers. And he's got slightly better numbers at home playing in the Phillies home stadium as well, which makes sense because it's the Phillies home park and it's a hitter's park. I love Kyle Schwarber to hit a home run. And if we're going to go with Schwarber, we might as well go with our next guy. Take another chalk, Bryce Harper, to hit a home run, plus 450 odds on him, which is another really good price. It's kind of similar to Schwarber. Bryce recently, one game was at like plus 260, the best odds. Mostly been in the plus 200s or 300s. And we're able to get him at plus 450. That's a very good price. Now, it makes sense why he's at plus 450. The pitching matchup is so-so. The weather is not nearly as good as it has been. And Harper's not quite as hot at the plate as Schwarber. But that's still solid value, even with all that stuff in mind. Now, as I mentioned, he's not hitting as well as Kyle Schwarber. Not many batters are. But you look at his numbers, and instead of comparing them to Schwarber, you just look at them. They're not terrible. You're looking at the same stretch of games, so last 14 days. Over his last week, 2 barrels, 8 hard hits. Respectable, not incredible. Also not a batter that is completely lost at the plate. Over the last 2 weeks, a much better 7 barrels and 19 hard hits. So when you look at kind of this 2-week span for Harper, he was hitting better 2 weeks ago than he was over the last week. The Phillies have also been on a road trip over the last week. Now, they're at Yankee Stadium, which A, is not that far, and B, a pretty hitter-friendly park for lefties, especially like Bryce. And then the White Sox, also a pretty hitter-friendly park. That's a tongue twister. But Bryce is just better at home, which makes sense why the first week back from the All-Star break, those games are at home. That makes a lot of sense for Bryce Harper. He's better at home to a more significant degree than Kyle Schwarber. Plus, he's got a 265 ISO rate at home, only a 201 ISO rate away. That's a difference between an excellent ISO rate and a on the border of just being good ISO rate. And Harper's hit more home runs at home despite having over 30 more at-bats on the road. Obviously, he's also going to be facing Jack Flaherty. Bryce also hits the four-seam fastball very well. Not quite as good as Schwarber, still very good. We're talking 250 ISO rate, 13% barrel rate, 50% hard hit rate, and 44% fly ball rate. But the other pitch in favor of Harper is the slider. Can also get hit pretty hard by Flaherty. It's like a high strikeout pitch, also a high power pitch. And Bryce actually has better numbers against the slider than Schwarber does. 474 ISO, 10% barrel, 50% hard hit rate, and a 40% fly ball rate. Now, Bryce does strike out a lot against the slider, which kind of just means he's swinging for the fences. That's fine, which, if he strikes out twice and hits a home run, I'm okay with that. So it's actually better from a pitch mix perspective for Bryce, but obviously Schwarber, just a better power hitter in general and also hitting better recently. Regardless, both Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber are worthy of a play. We're talking 270 plus 270 odds for Schwarber, plus 450 odds for Bryce. I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, of course, all that good stuff. Make sure to bet responsibly and have a good one. Must be 21 or older in participating states. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See terms and conditions in the description of the video.